Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, everybody. I would like to say thanks to Allah who has given me chance to present my proposal. Alhamdulillah, I can finish my proposal in under the guidance of Professor Jufrizal M.Hum, Professor Hermawati M.Hum, and Dr. Ratmanida M.Pd. Thanks for them. They have guided me for making my proposal. So my proposal has been finished, then I can present today. And also the honorable to two examiners, Professor Zaim M.Hum and Dr. Darmansyah, M.Pd. Today I would like to present my proposal under the title Developing Virtual Flipped Learning Instructional Model for Reading Subject. Okay. I would like to say that teaching model is essential support the learning process. So the model of teaching help the students to acquire information, ideas, skill, values, and ways of thinking. Model of teaching also enhance the learning process. Model of teaching also teach the students how to learn. It's come from Joyce and Word 2003. Okay, so because of teaching model is important, so it is needed to create teaching model that is suitable to the student in the current era. Actually, the learning process still happen in traditional system. Development of technology must be followed in this era. Yeah, the learning must carry out using technology than traditional classes. And availability of the reading learning model for reading the English in India in Padang Sidempuan is the problem. And then lack of interest and motivation in reading also the problem of the student, and the student could not understand well the ideas in the reading, and flipped learning is one solution for solving the problems. There are some related findings from Mo Tajizan Elahe Fahmi, who said that flipped learning, who explored the effectiveness of flipped learning to increase motivation and interest. They also proved that flipped learning is effective to teach the students in many fields. So this is the reason why I decided to develop the virtual flipped learning instructional model to teach students. The limitation of the problem is the unavailability of the instructional model for students in learning reading. And also the formulation of the problem is what is the form of instructional model appropriately used in teaching learning process of reading comprehension at in Padang Sidempuan. And then come to research questions. What are the instructional model usually used in teaching reading at in Padang Sidempuan? Then the second is, how is the design of the prototype of virtual flipped learning instructional model? The third is, how is the virtual flipped learning instructional model developed? And then the fourth is, how is the acceptability and usefulness of the virtual flipped learning instructional model teaching reading? And the last is the virtual flipped learning model effective in teaching reading subject? The main purpose of the research is to design the form of instructional model appropriately used in teaching learning process in reading Padang Sidempuan. And then the research purpose to find out the instructional model that usually used there, and then to design the prototype of the model. The next is to find out the virtual flipped learning instructional model is developed, to find out how it's developed, and to examine the acceptability and usefulness, and then to examine the effectiveness of the model. And the product specification, this model is model's book and lesson plan. So now come to the significances of the research. There are four. The first, to support theoretical knowledge about virtual learning instruction. The second is to enrich learning model that is suitable to technology era, to give solution to teaching paragraph in university, and to give information to the next researcher about related topic. I have three assumptions from this research. The first is teaching and learning must connect to the development of ICT. And then many experts have agreed that flipped learning model are useful for helping and encouraging the student to learn. And flipped learning makes learning become student-centered. However, I come to the assumptions, but the limitation of the research is the availability of the electricity and internet connection. So it is the limitation of this research. And then I come to definition of terminologies: flipped learning, instructional model, virtual meeting, Zoom meeting, and virtual flipped learning instructional model. First, come to flipped learning. Flipped learning is inverted learning when the learning system that is usually done in the class meeting changes to outside of the classroom, and what is generally done at home as assignment or homework will be done in the class meeting. Now, by using technology or internet for studying at home, it is by using technology. And then instructional model is the pattern or the framework that is by the teachers in teaching to carry out the systematic learning procedures in order to achieve learning objective. Virtual meeting is synchronous meeting, means that meeting that's conducted face-to-face at a certain time in the teaching learning process and using internet connection. Zoom meeting is virtual meeting which is conducted by application Zoom or platform Zoom. And virtual flipped learning instructional model, the model that want to develop here. It is first that using the model of inverted teaching for teaching using Zoom platform. Next, come to literature review. There are 7 concepts. The first is philosophical and psychological theory. Philosophical theory is constructivism, and then psychological theory is cognitive information processing model. So we come to constructivism. Constructivism is the learners construct a knowledge from experience and information. This is from Seifert and Sutton, 2009, and also the learners connect what they know to exceptionally to what they learn from Spivey, and then connective information in the learners construct meaning for getting knowledge. Next, come to the concept of reading. First, reading is process of constructing meaning. Reading is the process of communication between and interaction between the readers and the writers from Noonan. And reading is the process of getting information. So the purposes of readings or to gather information, to obtain the knowledge from ARCA, and to get the main idea, to find the information in detail, to answer specific person, to identify topic, to identify supporting detail, fact, opinion, and so on. Next, come to teaching reading. Teaching reading is a process of teaching. So a complex process that include the coding skill, fluency, and reading comprehension. It is a process. And then the aim is focus and outcome that expected from reading. Approaches is bottom up, top down, and interactive. And then principle in teaching reading is asking the student to use various reading resources, asking students to integrate schemata, and making the student enjoy, motivate, and interest in reading. Next, talking about teaching paragraph reading, how is the teacher teach the student to read? Asking the student to find main idea, asking the student to use skimming and scanning, to identify supporting detail, to identify messages, locate specific information, and to make a summarize. Next, come to reading assessment. Assessment means the activity to guide the information about student learning result or collecting the evidence intentionally, which is done systematically and continuously. It is from Zaim. It's about to access students' abilities. Reading assessment is the assessment to the student ability in comprehend various kind of text and then assessing reading on identifying main idea, detail, argument, content, logical conclusion, and then the author's purpose. Next, we come to instructional design. It is the process of arranging and developing teaching and learning product or the strategies to create learning material. It is instructional design. And then instructional model is the model of teaching that used as a framework for implementing in the classroom teaching. So it is the models of teaching that used as a framework to implement in the classroom teaching. Next, talk about virtual flip learning. Virtual learning is the process of learning in the classroom, outside of the classroom and in the classroom, and then learn at home and sharing session in the classroom. And it's also said that the learning process uses technology to invert traditional teaching method by delivering lectures online as homework and interactive learning in the classroom. This is from TACO 2020. Advantages of flip learning is to provide time during the class, to make the sense, also to make the student active, to improve learner result. It is also to improve student reading motivation and to develop critical thinking. This virtual flip learning, virtual classroom based on Ismail and Abdullah said that it is a learning environment that involves a computer-based environment in which the student and the lecturers or the teachers collaborate using multiple communication channels such as audio, video conference, or settings. So the model of teaching, I take it from Joyce and Wall, 5 syntax, social system, principle of reaction and support system, and the last is the impact model, or the effect of the model. So, and then in the syntaxes of flip learning based on Elsefa and Solosnenko. First is planning. The teacher prepare the material, the teacher asks the student to learn on the material, and then implementing. In the implementing, there is a learning outside of the classroom and learning face-to-face meeting. And then evaluation is assess the student learning by giving tests. And what I need to explore or to develop is the rule in this or the implementation. I will add some there by using virtual meeting. Next, research and development model. There are many research and development model, but here I just give for Dick and Carey model, AD model, is Asura model, and Ikera model. And for the related studies, I take from Tang 2020. Is research on in efficiency of flipped classroom in online-based teaching under COVID-19. So, flipped classroom is efficient to teach the student in COVID-19. It is the result. Nikitova 2020 is their study about flipped learning methodology in professional training of the future language teachers. So the future language teachers are suggested to use flipped learning by Nikitova. The next is Ismail Sameh et al. Who did the research in virtual flipped classroom. It is new teaching model to grant learners knowledge and motivation. So virtual flipped classroom increased knowledge and motivation. It is the result. So about flipped learning and reading, there is from Mo and Mo, an empirical study of the effectiveness of college English reading classroom teaching in flipped classroom paradigm. And also Diviso 2019, teaching reading comprehension by using flipped model instruction to the student in SMK Negeri 2 Palembang. And also from Fahmi, the use of flipped classroom model in teaching reading comprehension. And they have done a research on flipped learning classroom, but they did not connect it to virtual meeting or to online meeting, that is current teaching method at this time. Okay, what has been done in flipped learning for teaching reading is for teaching for flipped learning for teaching reading, for proficiency level, for reading attitude, for reading in general. And what has been done in flipped learning with virtual is virtual by using WhatsApp and MS. They do not have, I did not find yet the research that flipped learning by using virtual meeting by using Zoom platform. So this is that I would develop and this research become the expected result is the availableness of the model for teaching reading focus on reading with paragraph by virtual meeting. So I would develop the virtual flipped learning instructional model for teaching reading. The conceptual framework, the problems, traditional ways of the teaching reading, unavailableness, instructional design, less ability, and the solution need to develop instructional model. And then is AD as the process of development. And then the next is the expected result is product. Yeah, the product is virtual flipped learning instructional model for teaching reading, valid, practice, and effective. So I wanna prove that whether this product is valid, practice, and effective. So come to the hypothesis. The developed virtual flipped learning instructional model for teaching reading is valid to be used for the English student. The developed virtual flipped learning for teaching reading is practice, and the model is effective. This and the model also the developed virtual flipped learning instructional model for teaching reading is effective to be used for the English students. So it's valid to be used, practice to be used, and effective to be used for the English students. Now come to the methodology, the research method. Kind of the research is R&D. This with AD, analysis, design, development, implementation, and evaluation. And then the product testing is the expert and field testing. And next, the data are quantitative and qualitative data. And then instrument of the research is questionnaires, interview, observations, reading test, and validation sheet. And technique of data analysis or qualitative analysis by using analyzing and preparing data, reading, coding, describing, presenting, and giving interpretation. And then quantitative analysis is by using mean score, reliability, and validity, effectivity, and practicality. This is that I want to do in this research. So why I chose AD? I have several reasons. The first is because of AD is appropriate to the model that is integrated to technology. So AD is more concise in determining the steps. And the step of AD in hierarchy structure or in systematic developmental procedures. And the model is validated. And another one is AD is one of the models to develop instructional models. Look at for the process of development. There are the process of AD and then development, initial draft, and then come to expert validation, The next revision after the expert validation, focus group discussion, then come to revision, and next come to the final draft, that is product is ready to be implemented. How is the process of the research? The first analysis, design, development, implementations, and evaluation. For the analysis to the student need. It is about a student's concept, and then the design. Design is constructing the instructional model. It is the initial draft of the model. The model is a virtual flipped learning instructional model. And then expert validation. Revision 1. After revisions, come to the expert anymore. And then if it is valid, it come to the become the draft. If it is not valid, so come to the revision 2 or the second revision, and then if it is valid, next to the draft of the model. And then the draft come to focus group discussion, and then after focus group discussion, come to the revisions, and then to the second draft, and the next is implementation, trying out, and evaluation. And then after evaluation, doing final revision, product is valid, practice, and effective. And then instructional flipped learning model for teaching reading is come on. I mean that virtual flipped learning instructional model for teaching reading is ready. Okay, thank you for attention. This is my presentation about my proposal. I hope my examiners and my advisors or my promoters can give me the suggestion, ideas to develop my proposal. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.